Nagaland also had developed this Nagaland Disaster Management School Safety Policies a few years ago, and the cabinet has approved this, and it has been published in the Gazette and other publishing house. But however, when we look at it, the implementation of these policies, there are challenges. If you are really looking at, training maybe 10,000 or 20,000, maybe more than that, including the private schools, training them physically would be not very possible. Therefore, we are looking at different ways of reaching out to every teachers so that the safety policies of school is being implemented on ground effectively. So we were looking for those options, and then we came across Naga App. Now this Naga App provides online, training programs, online education programs. I think they have been working with quite many other schools as well. So we approached them, and initially we were talking about how about taking this school safety policies, implementations, training forward through your portal. Then they agreed upon, and they have sent in the proposals, and that proposals had the vetting of the Disaster Management Authority here at the Home Department, plus the vetting of the Department of School Education. Now today, why we are gathering here for this ceremony is we would like to have that signing, and this signing ceremony or this training that we are going to take forward online is not only for the government schools, but this is for every schools in the state. Now, today is only the service agreement ceremony. With this, the company Naga Ed will take forward and start developing the modules. And minimum, the requirement for developing and completing the module is 5 months. Therefore, we are looking at it today is June. Then by November, this will complete, and we will do this launching of this training portal by the 1st of December during our statehood day. And this, once this training starts, we are looking at reaching out to 10,000 teachers first. And if that 10,000 teachers training is successfully implemented, then we will enhance and then cover as many as possible to reach out to almost all the schools. But to start with, we are looking at 10,000 teachers.
And I'll be presenting on the overview of what NSDMA. Okay, so I'll be presenting what this National School Safety Policy is all about. So I will give a brief overview. Sir Johnny has also briefed us, but I will take you through again once more. So the program name is Nagaland Disaster Management School Safety Policy, and we will call it NDMSSP. And it is mandated by the guidelines of schools, NDMA guidelines. Okay, I'll send it. Now, the context, the background why we came up with that is that Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority, in collaboration with the Department of School Education, we have developed a comprehensive school safety policy to ensure the safety for the schools and for the administration, for the student all over the state, across the state. But then the challenges of implementing, this is a humongous task. So in order to make it accessible even to the remote areas, we have thought of the idea that if we digitize it, then it will be easy to access and everybody will get to knowledge of what this school safety policy is all about. So, okay, the primary goals is to train teachers on the subject of disaster management through online mode. And this will help us or help the students or help the teachers formulate their own individual school safety plan and provide a safer workplace for both faculty and students in response to disaster through disaster preparedness measures. Now the work specification, the work allocation or the areas where we will be working, the NAGA will design and develop the digital compliance model. They will provide the technical support and rollout of the digital model, then provide training on how to use the platform. So they will be engaged in the training of trainers. So NSDMA also will be there, and education from education department also will be getting trained through NAGA. And then the NSDMA, their role will be finance the course and act as the facilitator and the interlocutor. Then the area of concern from the Department of School Education is provide list of teachers for training and enforce such participants for certificate course. So they will be giving us the registration form of the teachers and the performer details. And then they will issue the order notification of specifying the level of teachers who would be undertaking this online course. Now the target is, we are targeting 10,000. And then the first phase, we will target 400 government teachers and 4,000 government teachers, and we are not leaving out the private teachers also. So we'll be accommodating 1,000 for the private teachers across the state. And flexibility, the module, how we are going to go about with this digitized school safety policy is that it will be flexible.
Is completed, no?
Okay, then I got check. Do a good start to our new venture. Thank you.
School safety policy is critical for our schools. And our schools, we have about more than 30,000 teachers, including private and government, and about 4 lakh students in the state of Nagaland. And these teachers and students, they congregate in the schools at fixed durations in the schools in the day. And therefore, making them prepared for disaster so that they can respond to disaster and mitigate the disaster risk is very important. Therefore, I thank the NSDMA for encouraging this and for facilitating this program. This way, our children and our teachers, in fact, our teachers will be better prepared to take care of the children. Thank you.
Initiative is concerned. So the NSDMA and the Department of School Education had come out with a comprehensive manual on school safety policy. So what was felt was that, since it's a slightly voluminous document, many of the teachers might not be having the time to completely sit through and read. So what was envisaged was take the content and develop them into modules, which becomes very easy for the teachers to quickly go through. And also, there's this modules, there are going to be videos which will illustrate some of the concepts that are going to be there in the particular module. So, and then they'll have to go through a test as well, so that we actually gauge their understanding. And given the fact that we've had situations in the past, in the early part of this century, there was a situation, there was an incident in Tamil Nadu where about 40 kids were killed in a school fire. So, post that, there have been a lot of interventions in order to ensure that kids are kept in an extremely safe environment in schools. So our state is no exception. So we've been taking all possible steps to ensure that kids are safe to the best extent possible, given the resources that we have. So this is also one such initiative where the teachers will go through these modules and they will self-certify themselves. And this is something that over a period of time we want to cover all the teachers. So we have about 2.4 lakh kids in the private schools. So in the first phase itself, we are covering a substantial number of teachers in the private schools as well. We have about 758 private schools in the state. So in the first phase, 1,000 teachers, private teachers are being targeted. And depending on the enrollment in the schools, we like the larger schools, we'll have more teachers who would be allowed to go through the module. And subsequently, when the next 5,000 teachers are going to be taken up, all of them, a much larger chunk would also be covered. So that's the plan. So we as was shared earlier, we plan to have it launched formally on the statehood day, 1st of December, and post which we expect that our teachers would get themselves certified and ensure that kids have a much safer learning space in schools.
Structural and non-structural safety measures. So once the teacher is trained, they will be responsible to develop the in situ school disaster management plan. So once we have the school disaster management plan, what activities and what they will be doing at the school in situ, they will have to plan out. There are formats there in the policies. These school safety policies, when we look at structural, then we will look at the safety of the structure of the school. Non-structural, we are even capturing the bullying. So there are many other activities that the school education, the school level institute will have to carry out here. Now that is the reason why we are training the teachers, because once the teachers are trained, then they will be able to do that whatever activities to be carried forward as enshrined or envisaged in the policies book would be implemented at the school level. Then in the first phase, maybe let us say high schools teachers or maybe primary school teachers or like that, they will be bringing out that slow. I think Sir PD can add on.
So we have 1939 government schools in the state and 758 private schools. So since we are looking at a target of about 4,000 government teachers in the first phase, alongside 1,000 private school teachers. So what we'll be doing is for the schools, depending on the number of the enrollment in the schools, we'll be having multiple teachers take the course from that particular school. If the enrollment is low, it will just be one teacher, so that we want to cover all the schools, government schools in one go in the first phase. And given that we only have 758 schools, so since we are allocating 1,000 slots for private teachers, we'd be ensuring that the schools with larger enrollment have more teachers who will be taking it. So that's something that we'll work out, and then we'll sort of come out with a formal order there.
Yeah, I understand that the activities in the schools have increased after the implementation of the National Education Policy 2020. But our teachers are being capacitated to handle all these activities. So additional training to handle or to reduce disaster in the schools, to reduce the risk of disaster in the schools would not be a burden on us school teachers. In fact, it's insulating them, it's preparing them to handle difficult situations.
We look at it, the children spend more time in school than at home. And one of the perspective why we are making this as one of the core activity in the school is, in case if any event of disaster comes during the day, then school will be the epic center of impact. So we would like to reduce that risk. So that is the reason. Here there are many other areas where the safety concern at the school level is being taken care of. Not necessarily natural disaster event alone, but many other social or community issues also here.
So yeah, under Samagra, every school gets a grant every year, And if you also look at the World Bank Nectar project, there's something known as performance incentive grants, under which every school in the state, every government primary schools gets an amount of 3 lakhs over a period of 2 years as 4 installments. For a middle school, it's 6 lakhs. For a high school, it's 8 lakhs, and for a government higher secondary school, it's 10 lakhs. Now, under this, and also under the Samagra grant, what a lot of schools have done is they've put in place firefighting equipment, fire safety equipment. So this is something that's always been there, and then I think going forward, once this module is completed, and this been around for quite some time right now. So several teachers have gone through it, and so in order to ease the whole situation, we now come up with this initiative. So this would further enhance their awareness of what can be done. It's not just about putting in place fire safety equipment, but then the processes as to what do you do should there be a disaster. So it's more around that. So which may not cost much. At whatever funds that's available, that's something that can be done. So that's the whole idea. Increase their awareness and ensure that systems are in place. So should there be a problem, they immediately respond.
In the new school buildings, in all the new school buildings, now having 2 doors is mandatory. So that is being implemented in our schools. 2 doors in a classroom.
It is important to note that with the introduction of these school safety policies only, that the safety measures in the school is being in place. It's not like that. It was already there, but we are only bringing in systems to do, like BD was saying, more ease.
So, and just to add to what my Commission Secretary Ma'am had said, so the Nagaland Building Code, the Fire and Emergency Services Department is now being tasked with the responsibility of ensuring it in every single building there is in the state, and this includes the school building as well. So that's also simultaneously going on.
I think for us, if you really look at our risk and hazard profiles, at least in the context of the school, of course, fire is always there. So fire would be, it can happen anytime. But however, the major one is the earthquake. We never know when earthquake will come. It's a question of when only, not if. So, if earthquake comes during the day, I do not know how many structures is strong enough to, withstand or resist the wave. So the earthquake would be a major threat, major risk to the school, at least in the context of Nagaland. We are in the 5th seismic zone, which is the highest earthquake risk zone. So we are not exception. We will have to be prepared ourselves.